Dubai is like, for Indians, it's like a hub. Like we almost call it's a part of India.
Yeah, right. Okay, yeah.
Like it's so close to us. Like there's a joke that the most expensive city in India is Dubai.
Brilliant. Yeah.
Even after that, the newcomers, people who are coming for the first time and buying their houses and living there, were highest with Britishers. So they are like just moving all around the world now.
I think Dubai took the highest number of millionaire exits from the UK, I think, of one country. Dubai's not that big, dude. It's basically a very large city.
Yeah.
It's one very large city.
True.
And then
it's not even large.
Well, yeah, that's right. And some desert around it and a sea. So yeah. Crazy.
Coming back to a UK, US, India conversation, okay? I really love that. What do you think? Is this... So, okay, let me just point out things that you said. You said there are people in US who think that they're entitled to be
some, sometimes I think
there are people like some adults who want something because they thought as when they were growing up, they were promised the world. Now they're not being given that word.
Also, just to add another wrinkle in that is if you live in a meritocracy, especially a capitalist meritocracy, which the US absolutely is, if the people who win are worthy of their successes, what does that say about the people that lose? They're worthy of their losses, right? You are completely in charge of the outcomes that you get in life. And that means that if you don't get the outcomes you want in life, it feels like a personal insult. It feels like you are not enough. You're not good enough. You should have been better. And if only you'd worked harder or done something else, you could have become that. Whereas in the UK, your path is kind of predestined a little. And I think that restricts what people believe and hope, but it also makes them kind of take their hands off the wheel somewhat. How high could I climb? How high could I climb? For instance, I remember this. When I used to play cricket, when I was 11 or 12 years old, so you'll know this. Do you have the term thanks for coming in India when you play cricket? It's called a TFC, thanks for coming. And it's when you don't bat and you don't bowl.
Okay.
And the captain at the end of the game shakes your hand and goes, thanks for coming, mate. Because all you've done is field.
Yeah.
Right. And I remember that I used to sometimes have this weird sense of satisfaction if I had a TFC, because I knew that I didn't have the opportunity to fail. I didn't bat, so I couldn't get out or score low. I didn't bowl, so I couldn't have bowled a couple of overs and got taken off because I bowled badly or something like that. Got hit for 18 in 2 overs or something, and then the captain's like, sorry, mate, take a spell. And that, I think, is partly, fear, it's avoidance. It's certainly a bit of me. I'm not saying that British culture's got that much to do with it, but I certainly do see people in the UK inoculating themselves from failing publicly by assuring their failure privately, by not even engaging, right? If I don't try, I can't fail, at least publicly. And remember, when status is such a big deal, and if trying and failing is this huge, big catastrophe, you don't want to try and fail. It would be easier just to not try.
Yeah, I agree. This is the same in India, by the way. But shame, embarrassment attached to failure.
Yep. I came off a moped in Bali 10 years ago. So I'm just the most garden variety, standard issue, stupid white tourist thing to do. I rent a moped for 50 cents a day.
Okay.
And I'm riding down the street, truck pulls out in front of me. I pull both of the brakes. The back brake is completely gone because the bike was worth 50 cents a day. The front brake goes, the bike slides out from underneath me. You'll remember when you were riding a push bike as a kid, you pull the front brake, the bike goes. And I come off the bike and the whole side of my arm, up on my shoulder, the outside of my knee, the top of my foot, just me versus Balinese Road in a tiny pair of swim shorts and a vest. I lost, right? Balinese Road won. It was a TKO. The first emotion that I felt as I stood up, having just come off this bike, bleeding, covered in grazes and scrapes and, no skin left on one side of my body, the first emotion that I felt was embarrassment. The first emotion that I felt was shame. It wasn't fear for my own life, my own health, whether or not I'm going to get infected, how am I going to deal with this, can I get home safely? It was, this sort of British, are people seeing, are they laughing at me? That was the first emotion that I had.
But isn't that good? Because that actually motivates you to become better.
I think so.
Let me be more specific with the shame question on this.
Yep.
Do you think if you're born in a society where you're motivated or demotivated by shame, and you attach your sense of worth by the fact how much shame you're gonna be experiencing in the eyes of society, is that a good thing or a bad thing?
Well, it certainly makes sure that people behave in a pro-social manner, right? The judgment of others, people don't want that. So that's good. I don't like shame as an emotion. I don't think it's a powerful tool. I think that you're better off trying to get people to do what they should do through incentivizing them as opposed to punishing them. I think punishment largely is, especially in the modern world, unless somebody's broken the law or done something, like genuinely unethical, well, you get shamed for trying and failing? Really? Really? That's the middle. I felt the fear of shame of bowling and bowling badly, or of batting and not scoring well, or of coming off a moped and it being because of my skill on a moped, which it wasn't. I mean, I also don't have great skills on a moped, but it was because I got a bike that I hadn't checked the brakes of fully. I didn't think that you would be able to rent a bike where the back brake didn't work. Okay, but is that really worthy of shame? I don't think so. So look, shame can be useful, but it needs to be useful around very specific things. Does it incentivize people to work harder? Kind of, but I would rather encourage them to work harder than punish them to work harder.
Do you think then people should become shameless?
No, you need your shame. It's very important. This is where I will stand up for my British heritage. It's very important to have shame, right? Because without shame, you can become a very antisocial psychopath. You can start to use people in ways that are unethical. You can hurt people and do things that you shouldn't do. So I think shame's important.